Einen schönen guten Morgen. Einen schönen guten Morgen mit einem Blick aufs Atlasgebirge aus der Royal Suite im Oberoi Marrakech. Gelandet bin ich gestern um Mitternacht. Direktflug mit Discover von Frankfurt. Sehr angenehm, 3 Stunden 20 Minuten. Und kam im Dunkeln in dieses unglaubliche Hotel. Man fährt ungefähr 400 Meter durch eine Alleenstraße, bevor man das Haupthaus erreicht. Und ich habe aber natürlich nichts gesehen, außer meine Deluxe-Villa. Und jetzt schaue ich, liebe Gäste, von der Royal Suite aus der zweiten Etage über den Kanal auf das Atlasgebirge. Es ist wie in den Alpen. Die sind weiß beschneit und es ist einfach großartig, hier zu sein. Das erste Mal in meinem Leben in Marokko, das erste Mal in meinem Leben in Marrakech, nicht das erste Mal in meinem Leben im Oberoi, aber natürlich im Oberoi Marrakech. Und ich sitze hier jetzt zusammen mit dem General Manager des Hauses, Rohan Ogale. Und der Rohan hat dieses Hotel 2019 miteröffnet. Und da er aus Indien kommt, aber in Luzern studiert hat, verweigert er sich dennoch Deutsch zu sprechen, also gehen wir auf Englisch. A very good morning, Rohan.
Good morning. What a pleasure to have you with us, and welcome to the Oberoi Marrakech.
Oh yeah, thank you for having me. It's just one night actually, but it's fantastic to be here. Finally, I made it after we met last year on the Airtours and Friends seminars in Düsseldorf.
In Düsseldorf, exactly.
Yeah, with our friend from Mauritius,
Aditya.
Aditya from Mauritius, which is a fabulous hotel, which I stayed years ago. I have a little bit cold, but I will make it. So I try to avoid any coughing during the podcast.
Not to worry.
So that was it was almost 1 year ago, and I promised to come by, and here we are.
Did.
Yeah.
Here you
yes.
are.
Yes.
Absolutely. What a pleasure, and we look forward to really showcasing this property to you. It is a beautiful hotel, and there's no doubt that as you walk through, you'll find that serenity, calmness, and this beautiful architecture of the hotel, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely. I kept my word and
Thank you.
to come here. But what brought you to Marrakech?
I think, in through my entire childhood, growing up, and obviously going through my hospitality education in Lucerne, there were always touch points of Marrakech. Could be through films, could be through magazines, through various articles. There was something very exotic. There was something very mysterious. There was this romanticism about Marrakech that was extremely exciting. And while I was at the Four Seasons in Chiang Mai, I received a call saying, we're opening a Oberoi hotel in Marrakech. Would you be interested? And then, at that point, I was like, this sounds like a wonderful opportunity, and it's been 7 years now that I've been here.
But you've been with Four Seasons and other brands like St. Regis before, but before that you worked with Oberoi as well.
That's correct. So I used to be at the Oberoi in Mumbai and Oberoi in Dubai, and then it was a calling one coming back to the Oberoi, but Marrakech as a destination for me sounded as something extremely interesting because it's a beautiful mix, not only of the local Arab Amazigh cultures, but also the influence of France and other European countries. So it's a beautiful mix overall.
Okay. So you brought your family here as well?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So they're here. They settled extremely well. So it's been part of the experience and part of the ride.
So no plans to leave in the near future?
Well, not at the moment. And obviously I was mentioning earlier, this is probably the best time to be in Morocco because Morocco is transforming at a rapid pace since the 2030 World Cup was announced.
Yeah.
There's been rapid growth.
So you mean the World Cup with shared with Morocco, Spain, and Portugal?
That's correct. So 2030 will be a combination of 3 countries.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This hotel actually is also signed up as a FIFA hotel. So we will have a number of teams staying with us during the World Cup.
Oh, the lucky guys.
So it is going to be part of the experience because the stadium from here is about 20 minutes away. And some of the games will be played in Marrakech, but there will be a lot of activity that will happen during that period. So Morocco anyway is transforming. It's growing. It is a country that is on the upward rise. The level of luxury hotels remain top notch, but the infrastructure is getting better and better. You know, one of the challenges in Morocco was always traveling between cities would be long drives. But with the new high-speed train that they're building, and should be ready by 2029, that will connect Marrakech to Casablanca to Agadir, but going all the way up to Tangier. So in essence, from Casablanca airport to Marrakech will be 45 minutes by high-speed train versus 2.5 hours by car, which is the current situation. So a lot of things will change, even facilities within the city when it comes to transportation or infrastructure is just going to transform. So this destination will be really poised to be a top luxury destination in the future.
But history-wise, why are all these very top hotels are concentrated in Marrakech and not maybe on the coast, maybe at Agadir or in the north?
You have to remember Marrakech has a certain romanticism about it. If you look at the Medina of Marrakech, it's absolutely massive and it kind of takes you back in time. But there is the influence of, I would say, luxury here for the longest time. Yves Saint Laurent lived here.
Yeah. There's the Musée de Yves Saint Laurent.
His home was here. And, Yves Saint Laurent would always say Marrakech taught him colors. So a lot of his designs were influenced by that. And not just Yves Saint Laurent, but there were many that came to Marrakech many years ago and they found a certain charm and a certain home in this place. And being less than 3 hours from almost every major European city, it's extremely accessible. You have winter sun and generally great weather for 7-8 months of the year, plus a very rich culture. When you come here, even though it may be an extension of Europe, but you feel a complete transformation when you come here because everything changes. The culture is rich. The people are extremely hospitable. As a country, it's extremely safe. So when you come and you come to Marrakech, and people have since the past, it's always become a destination that's a fashion iconic fashion destination. It's also become, the charm of the old Medina and the charm of the people and all the different cultural elements. So for a long time, luxury hotels have been here. I mean, the Mamounia was obviously 100 years old, but before Mamounia became the level and the luxury that it was, the first luxury hotel to open here was the Aman, which was about 23 years ago. And then since then, many other hotels have followed suit. And now think about it, the Royal Mansour, which is the hotel of the king, has become again a very iconic property in terms of craftsmanship and obviously style. And the Oberoi as well, when this hotel was built, it was just magnificent in the workmanship, having this kind of space, gardens, architecture inspired by Andalusia and Moorish traditions. It's magnificent. So when you come here, you get opulence, and that's what Marrakech stands for.
Opulence, yeah. So there must be a reason why Oberoi came to Marrakech, and you're gaining all the awards because the Oberoi brand itself was awarded maybe 2 or 3 times as best hotel company in the world.
Indeed.
By Times in Great Britain or Travel and Leisure in USA. This hotel itself was awarded, ranked under the number 2 in North Africa, and this suite we are sitting in is the best suite in Africa, and I can continue and proceed all these awards. So, well, it seems that you found your place here in Marrakech. But before we start, that you take us into the hotel, what is so special on the brand of Oberoi? What do you like working with Oberoi? Maybe more than with other companies. Is there something special in the encounter and quality with guests? And because Vikram Oberoi, he always says the guest is everything. and your service is called because your symbol is the sun, the heartfelt service.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think first thing you have to remember is that Oberoi is a 91-year-old company, and it is one of the only family-run companies left. It's very different from being a mega corporate environment versus a family-run environment. I think that the Oberoi family are incredible hoteliers. Their vision has always been everything about guest experience and guest service, and it stands out, and this is consistent in every Oberoi hotel that you visit. So you have to remember that our dharma, as we call it, or our cultural values.
Say it again, please.
It's called the dharma.
The dharma.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's our core belief. Our cultural value is.
Okay. What does it mean?
It means basically it's kind of our core values is dharma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in essence, the Oberoi Dharma always starts with the guests, and that is what makes the company extremely special. Now, I'm not, many hotel brands say we put the guests first, but there's a difference between saying it and meaning it.
Oh, yes, I can tell you.
And in Oberoi, they really mean it. And I think for as a company, the amount of focus we put on guest experience, we are in the business of creating memories. And as Mr. Oberoi always said, you could build a hotel out of gold, but nobody will come there if the service is not good.
Yeah, yeah.
Another, kind of philosophy that Oberoi followed was don't chase revenues, chase excellence. Chase good guest service. The revenues will come by itself. You don't need to focus on that. So, the philosophy has been very different. And I think out of many...
Sorry to interrupt you, but it's the same like leadership recommendations. Do something with passion, and the success comes from itself. But if you don't do something with passion and love and fun, you won't succeed anyway.
Indeed.
Yeah, so this is the same transfer to your philosophy.
Absolutely. And I think that is, how hotels used to be run in the past. And it's extremely heartening to see the way the Oberoi as a company focuses on this. Because at the end of the day, you have to remember guests do travel. They are looking to create memories. And our role is to create those memories for them. So that's one of the special highlights of the Oberoi.
So, there was a little detail I just found this morning on my room, because there was a frame standing in the corridor with a picture of me. And I was so surprised. I didn't see it yesterday upon arrival, but I was so amazed. And that was a real wow factor. And I asked you, why did you do this? This little surprise? What is the reason for this? For these small details, surprising details, what is behind this?
Well, the hotel room should become your home.
Yes, it became immediately. To be honest,
because these little touches are what makes you feel at home.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is to evoke that feeling of being in your own comfort space, and these are little touches. I mean, this is just one of them. There would be many different touches that we would create, but that's the idea.
But my girlfriend, she was immediately complaining, why is it not a photo of mine? Because she's not with me now. But no, it was amazing. I was so surprised, and I laughed that much. Great. So these are the little details you're focusing on.
Indeed. So like the more details we have about the guests, the more opportunity it gives us to be able to add personal touches. And that's what we always look for. At the end of the day, this hotel is not just a hotel. It's about creating that experience for the guests where they feel extremely comfortable, extremely at home. And that's where these little touches come into the picture.
Yeah. So, and you told me the more informations you get from our travel agents, the more you can do on property. So they should send an email to Majunke Sales, who's a representative in Germany, Frauke Hinrichs, or directly to you.
Either one of us. I
think share the information, who's coming, and what does the preferences and all these.
Yeah, I think it's very important because the more information that you actually provide to the hotel, the better of an impact we can have in creating a personal experience. And that's what we always look for. So we always recommend to any travel agent or to any travel advisor in general,
Yeah.
please write to us.
Yeah.
And we always put the guest on priority upgrades. We look at guests in terms of little touches that we can
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
The team is all briefed with their preferences, so they know when they walk into a restaurant or they walk into another area, these are the preferences of the guest. It makes a huge difference. Is when the guest arrives, everyone knows who they are. Everyone knows what they like. And obviously they can deliver a better experience than somebody who's anonymous.
Yeah. And it shouldn't be too difficult because this is a vast property. This is 28 hectares with 1,500 olive. So if you olive trees, Entschuldigung, because it was an olive farm before. And if you stroll around all the pathways, you can't see anything of a hotel. You just see trees, apart from the main building maybe. So this is a very huge property, but only 84 rooms.
Only 84 rooms.
Yeah,
and that's
so
a huge advantage.
Yeah, so just please take us into the hotel. Take us on a journey. What can I expect here, and why should I stay at Oberoi when I stay?
Perfect. I mean, the first thing you have to remember is that we're 20 to 25 minutes from the city center, which is a very, very good thing. Since 2019 that I've been here, I've seen the amount of crowds, traffic, everything in the city center increase quite a bit. So it is an attack on the senses. When you're in the city, you feel the impact. When you come out at 20 minutes and you come to the Oberoi, you come to an oasis of calm.
Yeah.
Now, the advantage of, as I said, not being in the city center is we have the luxury of space, right? So with all these beautiful gardens and 1,500 olive trees, and we're actually a working olive farm. We actually make our own olive oil. Walking around the grounds in itself is a peaceful, tranquil experience where you have that feeling of being in Morocco, and it's absolutely incredible. The other big advantage that the Oberoi has is that we're mostly a villa product with private pools. Now, it's very different from booking a hotel room versus booking a villa product with private pools. It really changes the experience. Now, there aren't many hotels in Marrakech that actually offer a villa product with private pool. There are only a couple of hotels. So as a result, rather than booking a small 26, 28 square meter room, you're actually staying in a space where our smallest room is 70 square meters indoor plus 35 square meter outdoor terrace, which is on this main building. But then the villas start at 72 square meters indoor plus 125 square meter outdoor terrace with private pool.
It's huge, yeah.
So and
very high ceilings.
Exactly, and that's what the philosophy of the hotel is: height, light, and space.
Okay.
So when you come to an Oberoi, yes, we only have 84 units. You'll be surprised at 100% occupancy. You actually don't see the guests because everyone has their own private pools. And at the same time, the hotel is so well spaced out. People walk around, but you just don't see crowds together. And the only time we'd really see majority of the guests would be at breakfast. But the rest of the time, you do have your privacy or, that intimate space to walk around. The spa experience is absolutely phenomenal. We have a 2,000 square meter spa with an indoor swimming pool, hammams, treatment rooms, fitness center, yoga salon. So there's a lot of activity going on there. And we offer incredible treatments. And in general, within the hotel, we have many different activities that we offer guests. So from padel to a clay court, tennis, to bicycles, to our two, adopted donkeys, Sugar and Brownie, that are around the property. Plus, in general, we have daily activities for our guests. But and majority of our guests come here because they know that you can see Marrakech, but when you come here, you come to an oasis of calm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So rather than being in a city hotel, you're in a resort hotel. And second of all is of course the fact that we're also close to, we're 10 minutes away from 3 golf courses, really good golf courses. So even for those who are interested in golf, it kind of works out really well because you drive 10 minutes, you've got access to 3 different courses that you can play over your stay.
But we have a big demand for golfers in Marrakech, and you do as well, I guess.
Of course.
And yourself, you're doing the golf as well.
We're doing golf as well.
No, you in person. I mean,
I used to play a lot. I've played 14 years of my life. And obviously, as a general manager now, you don't have much time to get onto the course. But yes, it was one of my.
Sounds like a doctor who's spending all the day on the golf course. Oh, what a cliche! I'm sorry.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So golfing is one of the activities, of course. And then you have other experience like hot air ballooning, and I saw these old-timer sidecar motorbike.
We partnered with this the company that runs the sidecar experience here in Marrakech, and for the first time I actually tried that experience last year, and I tell you, it was the most incredible experience. It's probably one of the most beautiful ways of seeing Marrakech, because the beauty about it is that the driver is the guide, and he takes you across the Medina, and not to the commercial touristy side of the Medina. He takes you through the local side of the Medina, and you see things and hear stories that you would never imagine. Even locals are shocked when they take this tour that how amazing it was. They actually learn something new. So to me, that is probably the best way to actually see the Medina, is to get on that sidecar and do that incredible tour, which is run by a company called Marrakech Insiders. And
Marrakech Insider, okay.
Yeah, it's called Marrakech Insiders. And we have one of the bikes parked here at the entrance with the Oberoi logo on it. And that's because we've partnered with them. We actually run a special tour around this area close to us, which is a different side of Marrakech altogether. So we work with them very closely for that.
Okay. So auf Deutsch nochmal, das ist ein Oldtimer-Motorrad mit einem Beiwagen, mit dem man dann halt gemütlich die Straßen und Marrakech erobert. Genau. Das ist bestimmt, that's what you're famous for, because I saw the picture on every of your descriptions of the Oberoi. Okay, and what else can I, so I guess the Oberoi Spa does offer Ayurvedic as well?
So we actually have a couple of Ayurvedic treatments for the moment, but the reality is in July we're launching a major Ayurvedic program. In India, we've launched something called ASMI by Oberoi, which is a complete transformational spa experience, which focuses a lot on the a lot on our DNA as an Indian hotel company, which is with Indian heritage, is things like Ayurveda. So we would be in the process of introducing ASMI here at the Oberoi Marrakech. We will be hiring an Ayurvedic doctor with Ayurvedic therapists. We're going to be rolling out a series of different treatments that is intended to be result oriented. So this is something that will be launched, estimated around 15th of July. We're already making good progress in developing all the details. So I think it would be probably one of the most incredible experiences, and something where you don't need to travel all the way to India. You come 3 hours from Germany and you're in Marrakech, and you can actually experience an Ayurvedic.
But do you introduce it because of this longevity trend, or is it far from that, because it's one of the roots of the Indian?
I don't think it's to do with any trend. I think it's to do with the fact that Ayurveda for centuries has been
that's what I mean.
a very classical, I would say, holistic way of treatment, wellness, and medicine. Natural medicine to a great extent. And I think, one of the greatest advantages of being an Indian hotel company is to incorporate those Indian touches into it. I mean, this hotel has nothing really Indian about it. It's completely inspired by Morocco. But I think the two things that we really wanted to bring into this hotel was the Indian cuisine, which we have an Indian restaurant here with a Michelin star chef from London, which incredible Indian food. And then we've bringing in Ayurveda with yoga, and the authentic yoga from India, not the yoga that you see, commercially around the world, but really done in its natural form. These elements will be introduced this year in July.
Okay, so if I ask you, what are the Oberoi's signature experiences in this hotel, then it's of course the cuisine.
The cuisine is
the spa.
The spa is definitely there, but I have to say, even beyond that, we also really concentrate on creating a guest experience, which is one of the other Oberoi signatures, is the heartfelt service.
Yeah, of course.
It's always,
Yeah.
always been a standout.
Yeah.
And I think, as I mentioned, what separates us from many other hotels is that when you come to the Oberoi Marrakech, you know you're in Morocco. The architecture truly stands out. It took 10 years to build with 200 artists from the city of Fez. So you're walking through a palace.
So it took 10 years to build this, the hotel.
Indeed.
Wow. And it's all handcrafted.
It's all handcrafted, as you can see when we're sitting in the suite.
Yeah, this is
up at the
vast.
ceiling and you see the workmanship. This is something that you don't see anymore in new builds.
No, it looks centuries old.
Exactly, and that's one of the impression that a lot of guests have when they arrive here. They think that this was a centuries-old palace. In reality, it was built from scratch. But the beauty in the workmanship, the architecture, is that it actually captures what Morocco was centuries ago. So when you arrive at this hotel, and that's one of the big advantages, you know you're in Morocco. You appreciate the beautiful architecture, you appreciate the lovely gardens, the height, light and space. And then you got this beautiful heartfelt service with all these different experiences. And that's what makes the Oberoi Marrakech truly special.
It's very much convincing. But okay, you have a Moroccan restaurant, of course. It's tagine. It's called tagine.
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. And if I go to the Indian outlet, is it a choice of spicy and terribly spicy, or no? It's not.
No, I think we do maintain a standard where we don't dilute, we keep the authenticity of the dish.
Yeah.
But having said that, we can adjust the level of spice as per the guest preference. So that's never.
Yeah, but Indian cuisine is not only spice or spicy. It's so different from the south to the north.
It is.
Yeah. So it's like in Thailand, where in the south, in the Trang area, it's not standable what they serve. In the north, it's very calm and easy.
Yeah. Well, it depends also within the north, what part, where, how, which dish.
Yeah.
The beauty about Indian cuisine, obviously, it's a sensory experience. It has a number of different spices mixed in, and then obviously when you cook and you make that masala or the curry or the different dish, it has an explosion of flavors.
Absolutely.
And for those who enjoy those kind of cuisines, it's incredible. And Moroccan food has a lot of different spices in it, but they're not the hot spices like we do in India. They're the more, I would say, softer spices that are utilized. But again, Moroccan cuisine is very rich as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the flavors, of course. So, okay, if I stay here for 3 or 4 nights, what do you recommend me to do if I go to Marrakech? Okay, we said, okay, golf courses, the Atlas Mountains, I can go there by 1.5 hours.
Less than 1.5 hours. Atlas Mountains is definitely one of the places. What I would recommend in Marrakech to do, first of all, is the Medina. The Medina is, the word Medina basically means Altstadt, old town. And in effect, going into the Medina of Marrakech it's like a little city by itself. It's a very big old town. I think you can spend a whole day exploring the Medina, the souks, the markets, the different monuments, and enjoying a cup of tea, Moroccan mint tea and a little riyadh, and going around. And I think one of the great ways to do it is on that motorcycle sidecar experience, or for those who prefer walking, then the taking a guide and going around the Medina is always very, very useful. And I think that's definitely one day of an experience. Second is, of course, I always recommend visiting the Yves Saint Laurent Museum in Jardin Majorelle. I think that's a great experience. I know the tickets have to be booked online, but it is something that we always recommend to our guests because, at the end of the day, Yves Saint Laurent did have his presence here in Marrakech, and I think it's a great way to explore the gardens and his home and the other parts, which are all, I would say, what influenced his work. So I think that's definitely special. And then a couple of other options for the third day could be going up to the Atlas Mountains, doing a trek through the Amazigh villages, the Berber villages as we call them, and maybe enjoying lunch up there in the Atlas before coming back. So it takes, yes, just under an hour, 30 minutes, depending upon which part of the Atlas you go to. But it's an incredible experience. It's a beautiful drive getting there through the valleys, through the little villages, and walking around there. It gives you a very pleasant experience and seeing the Moroccan countryside. The last option would be going to Agafay Desert. Now, Agafay is a stone desert. It's not really I would say, a sand desert. So, going to Agafay and maybe having a sunset experience there. You have obviously the camels and you have the quads and the buggies, but enjoying cocktails and then following that with a dinner in the tent where the stargazing is absolutely phenomenal in the Agafay area because there's no lights around. So you get this beautiful stargazing.
Wow.
And the sunset, you can see the Atlas Mountains right in front of you. It's very close. So you have that incredible experience. I think in about 3 days, 3 to 4 days, you can actually cover these experiences of Marrakech.
Wow.
And then you have your smaller ones also, within the Medina or going for a hot air balloon and, all of these other experiences are always there.
Yeah, what about these marketplace? I forgot the name. These.
The souk.
Yeah, there's a big marketplace with all these.
Gemma Efna Square.
Yeah.
So Gemma Efna Square is part of the Medina.
Yeah,
right?
it's
part. The main square of the Medina.
But is it worth going there by night? And
yes, it is. If you would go to the Medina in the daytime, if you really wanted to see the monuments.
Yeah.
But if you really want to go there for the vibrancy of the place, you go there late afternoon, evening, because the Gemma Efna Square lights up in the evening with all the food stalls and the other activity. But the souks as well, they're running till 11 o'clock at night. So, everything is in its full flow.
Yeah.
And there are these lovely rooftop bars, rooftop restaurants that
That's
you
what
can stop in for.
That was my goal, talking about all these club scene, this vibrant club scene. And Namazos and all these names are here in Marrakech as well. And it's a very it's a very vibrant rooftop scene. Let's say it's not a club, it's a rooftop scene.
It is a rooftop scene, but also Marrakech has incredible nightlife.
Yeah.
They have 2 casinos. They have nightclubs, lounges, bars that are incredible and run till very, very late at night. So you could be out partying till 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's one of those places. So it's a very interesting setting.
But as we are just we are right in the middle of the Ramadan. So do I face any problems with alcohol if I go to the Medina or?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Marrakech as a destination is very liberal. It's very open and all restaurants are running as normal.
Okay.
Champagne brunches are ongoing.
Okay.
Bars are open. Everything is running. By law, they're not allowed to serve, say, Moroccans in general. But for foreigners, absolutely no problem.
Interesting.
And even when you're dining in a restaurant in the city or on a terrace, and nobody in Marrakech will ever look at you in a negative way because they're so used to the fact that it's such a mix of different cultures.
Okay.
They're very inclusive and they're very welcoming. So you'll never have a problem dining, walking around with a bottle of water, drinking water. All of this will never be an impact because Marrakech, they understand that, yes, the ones who are doing fasting are fasting and doing Ramadan, but the ones who are not, that's part of the experience. So the only difference that happens in Ramadan is things, there is an iftar held in every hotel or almost every place in the evenings. At this point in time, the breaking of the fast is around between 6:30 and 6:45. So during that period, a few hours from, let's say, 5 o'clock to 7:30, 8 o'clock, everything shuts down.
Okay.
Just so that people can go,
okay,
break their fast, and then things reopen again. That's the only change that happens during.
I see. Okay. So that's our last question, Rohan. What is your favorite experience or your favorite spot if you spend free time in Marrakech?
My favorite spot, I think for me, it's always been the Atlas Mountain.
Yeah, is it? Yeah.
I think there is a certain energy in that space which is beautiful.
Yeah.
And every time I go there and I just want to take that drive. First of all, I enjoy the drive. It's not very long, so you put on a little bit of music and you drive, and by the time you reach the Atlas Mountains, and remember, the Atlas Mountains is the Amazigh territory. It's really more the Berbers, as we call them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a space that people are extremely warm, extremely friendly. You're connected to nature. And at the same time, it's one of the places that brings you to a state of calm. So if I had that opportunity on a time off to go somewhere, it would definitely be the Atlas Mountains.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, well, I can proceed for hours talking to you. So interesting. But we have to end up here for 35 minutes. That was a real pleasure, and it was so worth coming to Marrakech, to Oberoi, and being your guest, for
Pleasure
sure.
was all ours, and thank you for being here. And we hope to see you back again.
Yes,
and not
sir.
just in Düsseldorf.
Yes, sir. Okay, for sure. Thank you so much, and all the best for you.
Thank you so much.